can't read those articles.
cut off for sentences.
Right, so I don't, they just said that they're hiring, and I was like, this makes no sense to me, I don't understand. Huh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like a town voted thing. And the older one. Because, you know, West Bridgewater's kind of weird.
Yeah, no.
You know, they do some weird things over there.
Yeah, well, my son.
Well, not that, they're just like you remember that time when they like got rid of all of their extracurricular activities for like 6 years? Because they cut off all of their extracurricular activities for like, no, West Bridgewater. Yeah, because they don't pay the extra money on the taxes. They were shut down for like years. And like maybe they only had like a selected like football or something, like it was very small.
I don't know, now they pay for it.
Right, now they pay for it. Right.
You pay, one fee per year, regardless of how many children.
At the high school.
What's the fee?
I think we just have to say like 250, That's how Sharon is, we had a user fee, and then like, they were maxed out though. So it was per sport.
That might be a family cap.
There was a family cap, because I remember like, by the time my sister and I were in lacrosse, someone did have to pay, and she was like, woo, sports. We already met the cap. Sharon was expensive growing up, they had
There's a lot of buses
were crazy.
I paid a lot for my daughter to do wrestling for middle school, and I was stunned. I was like, this is ridiculous.
I have middle school cheer, just paid $450. Plus, you gotta buy the jacket, the pants, the bow.
You have to buy the uniform.
Then you have to pay all the fees to get in.
Oh, with the, go to age basketball.
Thank you.
Play in the uniform or whatever, now they're
We're gonna get started.
Oh, it's a fucking day to get it. Seriously, man?
How much money?
You got some places
I hate to feel like that, but it's like, you know, not for nothing, but like.
Good evening, everyone. I'm calling to order the Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 FY26 School Choice Public Hearing and School Committee Meeting. Call the meeting to order. Guests can follow votes using the link to Southeastern School Committee page or watch live on our Facebook page. We're also recording this meeting. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand for a moment of silence, please. You may be seated. All right, first item on the agenda is the public hearing for school choice for 2025 to 2026. A public hearing is being held on school choice today, April 8th, 2025. This hearing is being held in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 76, Section 12B. Pursuant to the law, a public hearing is being held at Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School as posted. I would like to open the public hearing on school choice, which is being held in accordance with the law, Mass General Laws, Chapter 76, 12B. The meeting was properly posted on the school's website and advertised in the Brockton Enterprise. The purpose of the meeting is to consider whether to adopt school choice or adopt a resolution to withdraw from the obligation of school choice. At this time, I open the public hearing on school choice to comments from the audience. And I'd request that if anyone from the public would like to speak, please state your name, community, and whether you are speaking on behalf of yourself or on the behalf of someone else, and comments must be limited to 3 minutes. So do we have anybody who's would do? Okay, then I close the comment section. And do we need a full vote for the motion to close?
Yeah, you can move to close without objection.
Yeah, without objection, I move to close the school choice public hearing at 6:03 p.m. And then we're going to take it to a vote. I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution to withdraw from the obligation of school choice for the 2025-2026 school year. We must vote annually on school choice. It's a process whereby students from outside the district can apply for enrollment. The purpose of school choice is to fill vacant seats in the district. Since Southeastern has more in-district applicants than it has room for, and consequently maintains an active waitlist of in-district applications, opting into school choice is not a viable option, but we still need to adopt the resolution and bring it to a vote.
Move to withdraw from the obligation of school choice for year 2025 to 2026 school year.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 9-0. Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda is the student representatives report, and Adriana.
Spring has officially started. It felt like it last week. And with it, our sports season has been well underway. By the time of this meeting, all of our teams have played at least one home game. And we're looking forward to a great season to end the year out. Tickets are now on sale for the STEP team recital, which will take place on May 22nd. It's a special night for both the whole team and the graduating seniors who are part of the STEP team as well. April is packed with lots of exciting events. First, we have the Froshmore Movie Night. It's a fundraiser for the freshman and sophomore classes, will be held on April 11th. That's Friday. In the SPAC. And junior prom is set for April 17th. And the prom theme for seniors has been voted on. The theme of Arabian Nights has won. Also, voting for senior prom court is in full swing, and students are starting to campaign. Over April break, Travel Club is preparing for a trip to Japan, giving students a very unique cultural experience. That we'll be traveling to all different parts of the country and going through Japanese tea ceremony, going to see shrines, and learning a lot about the country. I also wanted to highlight that the 2025 High School Massachusetts Science and Engineering Fair took place. Three projects from Southeastern were chosen and placed, and one of them placed first. It's a huge accomplishment for our students here. With many great events happening, April is shaping to be a memorable month for our school community.
Thanks so much for your report. Any questions? All right. Moving on to audiences and communications.
Move to the Carhartt.
Yep. I think that's good.
All right. So at this time, members of the committee, I would like to recognize Jennifer McNally, our carpenter instructor. And Jen has worked here at Southeastern for almost a decade. She is one of our most dedicated teachers. She is creative, she is passionate, she has a never say no attitude. She not only helps our students develop incredible technical skills, she helps them become good and decent people who give back to their community through the Project Playhouse and helping with anything that she's asked to help with here. She's an incredible educator, an incredible person, and this year Carhartt recognized her as one of only 5 teachers in the entire country to receive their first ever Steel Apple Awards. And so we were able to surprise Jen, which is hard to do, and present that award to her here and with her husband. And in addition to recognizing her, they gave her a $10,000 grant that she can use for her classroom, to equip her classroom. They gave her some great Carhartt gear, and they gave each one of her students a Carhartt backpack and some Carhartt gear. So we could not be prouder of Jen. She represents the very best of who Southeastern is. And I wanted her to come here so that you would have a chance to congratulate her in person for this incredible award. So.
Congratulations, we celebrate you.
And we'll have to get pictures of the Project Playhouse, and we'll have to get them a chance to go see it. So Project, what's that?
We're moving it tomorrow.
I
We've been
know.
closer.
I know. So Project Playhouse is this is the second year in a row that it's a multi-shop project, and it's a playhouse that is built for a youngster with a serious illness. So they kind of come up with a theme or some ideas, and then between advertising and design and carpentry and electrical and plumbing, they create a real playhouse that represents some very whimsical ideas from the child. So, and it's amazing. And that will be unveiled at Bryant University on April the 29th. So, thank you.
So we don't have the student for C.
I do not see the student
Yeah.
for C. She's not here yet.
So we will skip over C.
Ariana. She's not here yet. Okay.
All right, so, and potentially moving back to it later. All right, so now we're on to 5A, public announcements,
I don't have anything in addition to that.
conferences, conventions, and meetings.
Conferences, conventions, and meetings, just wanted to make you aware that MASC Day on the Hill is May the 6th. I think Robin has signed up. So if there's anyone else who wants to attend, you can let Deb and I know, and we can complete the registration. And our culinary students will once again be creating some really tasty things to have at the event. So if you've never been, it's a nice event. It can be a little bit hit or miss with us being able to connect with our state senators and reps. We always reach out to them in advance, let them know we're coming, and try and meet with them, but given their schedules, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But we generally manage to get a couple, and it's a nice day. So, and then we typically will provide transportation from here in one of the school vehicles if folks need it.
Moving on to news articles.
And there's, I'll let you read the April news articles when you have an opportunity.
All right, next up on the agenda is the consent agenda. And we can approve the items as one. So that would be items 6A through 6H, unless anybody feels a need to pull one out.
Now move to approve the consent agenda as presented in the agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, let's bring it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it 9-0. Thank you very much. I do want to give several thank yous. First is we received a donation of approximately $5,000 worth of unused PVC plumbing fittings from Keith Eskander of Anania Plumbing in West Bridgewater for the plumbing program. And then we received a bunch of clothing articles and other items for the nest for our students. So thank you for that. Moving on to our financial report and the treasurer's cash report. And Karen.
Hello. This is the treasurer's cash report as of February 28th. The first page, you'll see the chart of the summary of financial position through February. And on the, oh, sorry. So that's the chart that summarizes everything, which is explained in numbers. On the next page, you'll see the beginning balance in February was $12,892,000, and the ending balance was $16,537,396. The following page shows the gross pay summary. Oh, wait a minute, I'm out of order. Next page is the budget to actual revenue page, which shows that assessments that had come in early in February that are due March 1st, and the others have all come in since then, during the month of March. Next page is the gross pay summary report for the salaried versus the hourly employees. Total for the year is now at $16,751,000. The final page is the reconciliation report, which shows the various bank accounts, including the trust fund program at PARS, and it's total of $15,571,000 on the bank balance side, with the outstanding checks and everything listed down below. So everything's in good shape. You see there are no variances that are not explained below. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Karen?
Just one quick question. I don't know if it's Karen or Mark. Did we fix the problem with making sure that our money is insured?
Yeah, we're going to do that through, there's a different type of insurance they can offer us. It just means we take a lower investment rate of like 25 basis points or something to, I forget the name of the insurance they call it, but it's above and beyond the regular FDIC insurance of $250,000.
Are we there yet, or we're working on it?
We're working on it because we have, a few of the accounts, as you know, have CDs with them. So that's excluded from that, I was told, so we don't have to worry about the CD balances.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions for Karen? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Jumped in.
To move to accept.
To accept the treasurer's cash report.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? If not, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 9-0. Thank you. We're going to now move out of order to 4C, our Massachusetts 2025 nominee for U.S. Presidential Scholar Award for MAVA.
Great. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us, Ariana. So, Ariana Crispin Perkins has been nominated for the prestigious U.S. Presidential Scholars Program. She was nominated by her guidance counselor, Melanie Aldridge. She's a resident of Mansfield, and she is known for her exceptional academic achievements, her leadership, and her perseverance. She maintains a 4.59 GPA while taking the most rigorous courses available through Southeastern's early college high school program. She has taken, every academic course she's taken during the last 2 years has been a college level course. At the same time, she's very devoted to her vocational courses in early education. When she graduates in June, she'll have her high school diploma, she'll have an associate's degree, and she's been accepted into the biochemistry program at UMass Amherst, so where she will attend in the fall. She has embraced leadership roles at Southeastern, serving as the ambassador for incoming freshmen, participating in extracurricular activities, including the newspaper club, Southeastern Hawks Dinner Club, and the Media Access Club at Massasoit. She was selected as Southeastern's representative to the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Conference, where she strengthened her leadership skills and her confidence. What truly sets her apart, and this is what Ms. Aldrich said about you, is your ability to overcome any perceived obstacle while maintaining unwavering focus on your goals. So that's pretty amazing. So looking to her future, she has a passion for medicine, and she is planning to pursue a career as either a pediatrician or a pediatric physical therapist. So the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program is one of the nation's highest honors for high school students, recognizing those who demonstrate outstanding academic success, leadership, and service. And you've certainly done that, and we are very proud of you. And we are very pleased to present you with this beautiful award from MAVA in recognition, the Massachusetts Association of Vocational Administrators, in recognition of your nomination as a U.S. Presidential Scholar. Can we take a photo real quick?
It's okay, we can pick this up.
Yes, of course you can.
way, am I, Andy?
I'm just telling you, get these rolls.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I just knew how to run my phone.
I'm just saying. I didn't know they could come that high. I didn't
That
know
was
they
my
could be that high.
All right.
Wow.
Well, congratulations, and it's somebody from Mansfield, so I have to mention
There you
that.
I know, you have to brag.
Yep, of course, I have more bragging rights. I'm all for that. All right, so we're gonna move back now to 7B, Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Administration's report, and Mark.
Yes, good evening. So I have the appropriated budget, I'm sure that'll be coming up in a second.
Oh, hold on one second.
Yeah, take your time.
What does one have to do to nominate a student? Do you have to?
Probably a lot of stuff to follow.
Yeah, I imagine. They don't have.
Sorry about that, Mark.
No, no worries.
Mark, yeah, just need to make sure she's at home, okay.
All right.
All right, so
Oh, here we go.
Now you've done it.
I know, I've been having some issues with this opening. Could be because I spoke new to see.
Nah, I'm sure that didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, there it
was.
was. I wasn't patient enough. All right, there we go.
So as you can see, we're going into the last quarter of the school year, so on page 11, you'll see we have $4.8 million left to close out the year, 12.3% of our budget. Obviously, we also have encumbered all our salaries, so that's why, again, it looks like 12.3, but all our salaries are encumbered. So $10,457,000 salaries are encumbered for the rest of the year, and 4.8 are available for contracted services, supplies, and all the other needs of the school. The one thing I will say is, tonight I also have some offsets to be put on the agenda to be approved. Vendors that I'm speaking to on a daily basis, the common theme I'm hearing is get your orders in now, get them in this year. The tariffs, like, you know, all the tariffs, all the supply chain holdups have been coming up. So we're trying to get as much as we can this year. We're trying to move some of the money in some of these items, some of the offsets you'll see, we were doing that strategically to make some purchases this year that we can, have them in place for over the summer and at least the beginning of the school year, because we don't know where we're gonna be in September when the school year starts. So we're trying to do those things strategically, and you'll see that as we go on tonight. Also, our revolving accounts, you'll see, we're in good shape there, our revolving accounts. And those, again, those are for, you know, automotive job, any type of job that we do in-house for the public and things of that nature that we have. And those funds get to roll from one year to the next. And then you'll also see the attachment that I have tonight for the offsets. And if you have any questions on any of these, please let me know, whether it be the appropriated budget, revolving accounts, or offsets. But again, these, you know, a lot of these are being made in essence to kind of capture some of the purchases we can this year while we can, and some of these have just been some increases that have happened, you know, since we budgeted, with things right now just being, you know, something's costing more than what we've expected them to be. So if you have to answer any questions or reports.
Any questions for Mark? Now we're gonna need a vote.
For the offsets.
For the offsets. So I'll entertain a motion for that.
Bring the offsets back up, please. All right, let's just, real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, take your time.
Mark, tell me a little bit about, what happened with retirement?
I'm sorry,
Retirement benefit, what's that about?
which line are you? I'm sorry.
The last one, 5384.
So that's our $50,000 OPEB retirement benefit. So we have that in the to be allocated line.
And
So I'm
we
just
didn't do it.
So I'm just no, we funded it. I'm just
Okay.
moving it from the to be allocated to the actual retirement benefit
Okay,
line.
all right.
So what happens at the end of the year when I report my end of year report, this way it's reported in the correct line. But when we budget it every year, we budget in the to be allocated, and then I move it once I make that transfer from our
Good.
account to the
Yeah.
PCOT account, then I do the actual transfer in house.
Okay.
In our account.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
See, workers' comp went up.
And electric.
Well, yeah, that was a guarantee.
I mean, workers' comp is based on actual claims, so we don't know as we
Yeah.
go through.
Do we need to talk about claims? No.
No.
Just ask.
We have a safety committee that we review those.
A move to approve the offsets as presented by the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Administration.
Second. Any further discussion? If not, let's bring it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it 9-0. Thank you.
Mark, thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay. Next up is the ratification of payroll warrants. We can do that together, 7D and E.
Move to approve the ratification of the warrants as presented on the agenda D and E.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, let's bring it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? 1. Okay, so it's 8-0 and then 1 recusal. Thank you. All right, moving on to old business. The FY26 budget, which is old and new.
So just, we've been doing presentations to town finance, town advisory committees, boards of selectmen. I know that Mark and Dr. Souza, when presented to an advisory council in Foxborough, they had some questions about just how our assessment is calculated and things, and I think that went very well.
Mark was really great, just to, like, they had questions that were really not his purview, and he had answers for them. He was great, really.
I want to thank Member Aldred, who went to both the West Bridgewater FinCom and Board of Selectmen meeting, which we did presentations. I want to thank Member Kaplan, who went to the Norton meeting last night, FinCom meeting, where we gave our presentation. Generally, you know, once folks understand how the assessment is calculated, they're generally quite supportive and of the school and understanding of the budget. But we do recognize that many of our communities are struggling, and we, you know, try and be respectful of that when we're giving our presentation. So we will keep you up to date. We won't start seeing approvals until probably early May with town meetings and things like that. So. And Brockton's always last.
I know, that's
By the time we get to that,
mellow here.
Alrighty, so moving on, our STEM building update.
We are there, folks. April 16th is the handoff at 10:30? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. We have successfully done it. So the roof is all done. I went out and looked at the building today just from the outside. I didn't go in. But all the trim work's done. It looks really nice. It blends very well with the gym when you stand back and look at it from different aspects. So it's really looking well. A little bit of landscaping to do around some of the cement pads out there and the water drainage and stuff like that. Something we didn't figure out that the softball field is 10 inches higher than the building, but whoops. It'll be fine. We'll get it to run the right way. So we're there. We're in good shape. So we should, tomorrow should be the punch list. So Alan should be doing the punch list tomorrow, and that will pretty much close it out. And then all the warranties and affidavits and all that will get filed, and all the paperwork.
And for those who don't know, there is a handoff, and do you want to explain what the handoff is about?
Well, we're handing it off to the students, obviously, so we've had a general contractor on site to erect the building and get it to a certain point, including HVAC, just roughed in. It is operational, but it is just roughed in. All the fire stuff is done. So now our students will be running the electrical, building the walls, doing the partitions where we need them to do it, whatever else we have to do, then we gotta seal the concrete floors when all that's done. Design, then they'll do all the layout of the shops that are moving over there. It's gonna be actually very exciting to watch them do that, so. Running the HVAC, because now it's gonna open up the other side, once things move, it's gonna be quite a transformation, it really is. Slow, but we'll get there.
So next, at the handoff, we'll, formally, the general contractor will formally hand the work over to us, and we'll have some little, quick speeches from everybody about the plans for the building and what it will actually look like when it's completely done. So we're very excited about it, and I want to thank Subcommittee Chair Heath and Member Harrington, Member Branch, everybody who's been involved in it. There was a time when we weren't sure it was going to get off the ground.
Remember that, right?
And certainly Chair Gaze, thank you. But we did it, and it's exciting. So, and it came in mostly on budget.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a project we almost gave back the money, right?
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
We were that close.
Yeah, and here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Really
glad we pursued.
No, thank you too, Holly. I mean, wow. Wow.
And it's been a team effort,
Yeah.
certainly. Thank you.
And then moving on to C, law regarding remote public meetings and our update.
So the last time we met, the law that would allow public bodies to hold completely virtual meetings was about to expire, and it went to Governor Healy to extend it, and she did, through June 30th, 2027, which means that if it were snowing and we didn't want to have a physical school committee meeting here, but we didn't want to cancel, we could host it virtually instead of, a quorum having to be physically present. We haven't really conducted completely virtual meetings for a long time. But it impacted a lot of folks, especially out in like western part of the state where it was harder for folks to get together. So, but it does allow you some flexibility, particularly around like subcommittee meetings and things like that. If you wanted to do that. So, just wanted to give you that update.
And then moving on to another update with our subcommittee assignments, having our new committee member from Sharon, Ronnie Goldstein. We did add him to 2 subcommittees. Nobody was moved around or anything. We just had added him. So the revised list was in the attachments. And so now everybody has a subcommittee home. All right, and we're moving on now to new business and the 2025-2026 high school calendar.
All right. There we go. That's very large. All right, this is the proposed 2025-2026 high school calendar. As you know, under our current contract, we cannot start before September 1st. I realize that we are in negotiations. Should this change, we will give you an updated calendar. But we're gonna go with the September 1st as the earliest start date, based on what we have now. So that is Labor Day this year. So we are proposing that our teachers report September 2nd and 3rd for 2 full days of professional development. That's been a very popular way to kick the year off the last couple of years, and we do sort of an ed camp model, where we typically have like a keynote speaker, someone come in, but all the PD is developed and led by our own staff based on the needs of our building. And then we may have 1 or 2 sessions that we require all faculty and staff to attend, but for the most part, they get to choose what they want to go to, when they want to go. They get time for department meetings, they get time to set up their classroom or shop. It's a really positive thing, and so we wanted to give them those 2 full days. The students would then report on September 4th. All the normal legal holidays are built in. We have tentatively scheduled open house for November 22nd. That is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And that has been the traditional date, but again, as you know, we are still in negotiations with the Federation around, all sorts of things related to working conditions. If that should change, we will come back to you with an updated calendar. Either way, it's a Saturday, so it wouldn't impact the number of school days. Once again, we would propose a half day on Wednesday for Thanksgiving recess, and then Thursday and Friday would be no school. The winter recess, Christmas falls on a Thursday, Christmas and New Year's fall
Better than a
on
Wednesday.
a Thursday, both Christmas and New Year's. So we're proposing that we go to school the 22nd, 23rd, and then the school would be closed from December 24th through January 2nd, which is a Friday, and we would come back on the 5th. So it's a nice long break. Yeah, it's a nice long break. I will tell you that we came back on the 2nd this year, which was a Thursday, and that second and the second and third attendance was just abysmal. It was bad.
Just work.
Yeah, it was bad. So it didn't make any sense for us to come back on. Well, it was bad because, I mean, of course people are gonna like take 2 extra personal days or whatever to get that full week. But also Brockton was on a different schedule.
That's right.
So, and that always makes it difficult for our students to come in. Like I said, the rest of it is the typical holiday schedule that we see. And then senior release would be June 1st, graduation the 3rd, with a tentative last day of school on June the 17th, pending snow days. So that is the high school proposed calendar.
Any questions for Holly around this calendar? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the 2025-2026 high school calendar as proposed by the superintendent.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 9-0. Thank you. Then moving on to the TI calendar for 2025-2026.
All right, Pat, I'll let you take this one.
So what Holly said. Starting, we start with the same parameters. So starting on the first day, the 2 professional, the same, September 2nd and 3rd for the faculty to come back. Students will be back on the 4th. All of the same holidays. Some of our programs start at different times and end at different times. So this version of the calendar is sort of the thing that everybody shares, right? So some programs may be coming later in June or whatever, but same Christmas, same holidays, that kind of stuff. But the STI winter graduation is set for January 7th, and the spring graduation is set for June the 10th, and the practical nurse graduation is June 16th. And then we have the reserve for makeup days, but some of our programs will probably run right to the end of June, like the 23rd. It's kind of the thing everybody has in common. We don't always have, most of the night school programs don't have classes during February vacation. They do have classes during February vacation. They'll have the Monday off, and then they'll be in school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The day school has February vacation.
Okay. Any questions for Pat? No. If not, I'll entertain a motion for that one.
Move to approve the 2025-2026 STIs calendar as proposed.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 9-0. Thank you. Moving on to C, class of 2025 scholarships to the TI medical assisting and dental assisting programs.
In the past, the school committee has approved 2 scholarships for high school graduates from Southeastern to attend the MA or DA program. Yeah. So it's something we like to do for high school students. We'd like to do that again this year.
So any questions for Pat on this? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the full tuition $6,000 scholarship for the SET class of 2025 graduates who attend the STI medical or dental assisting programs for the fall of 2025.
Second. All right, any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Mark, what would happen if we increase that to 3?
We have $6,000 less in revenue.
But I mean,
It's doable if that's.
it's doable is what I'm, yeah.
Well, should it be 4 because you're doing medical assisting and dental? I'm just trying to figure out how to be fair.
Actually, I said it to myself, but I was rereading that it was 2 programs. I was about to say 4. So no, right? Why isn't it 4? So I'm gonna vote no unless we change it to make it 4.
So you want to move to amend the motion?
Move to amend the motion to make it 4 scholarships, please. It's budget neutral.
Do we have the interest to do that from the students?
Yeah, that's.
Depends on the year.
Okay.
Is there a
All
reason
right.
we
Now,
use
just
single
because,
events,
if it's always
particular
been 2, you get 2,
shops?
you know.
It has to be the right student who,
Okay.
you know, so it's nice. People have definitely used it.
So
And we like to share it, you know.
Pat just had a question for you.
Is there a reason we only do something like this for medical and dental?
Because those are programs that are struggling with enrollment right now. And because they are, especially with the Mass Reconnect, with the free college tuition, you know, so, and it, I think because dental and medical are very popular programs in the high school, so sometimes a freshman may not get into those shops. They're in another one, and now they're a senior and thinking, I would really still like to be a medical or dental assistant. It's a combination of factors.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table, correct? Well, an amended motion on the table.
Second to the
I was about to
amendment.
call the vote. Okay.
You second the amendment?
You can second.
Second the amendment.
All right, any
Second.
further discussion?
Yeah.
All right, if not, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, 9-0. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I'm against.
Oh, wait, you were not aye, hold on.
Yes.
So you were against, so that's 8-1.
And
8-1.
Yeah, 8-1, okay,
I'm sorry, who was again?
I,
okay.
On the main motion as amended.
yes, on the amendment to the motion.
Moving on to the cell phone policy.
So this is just a heads up for folks that, and we've been talking about this and signaling this for a while, but we are going to move forward next year with a policy to encourage students to be healthier around the use of their technology, to be more engaged in the classroom, to be more engaged in interpersonal relationships at lunch and things. So the specifics of that policy will be presented at the May meeting. I know we had talked about whether this has to go to policy subcommittee before it comes here, but because it's a handbook policy, not a district policy, it can come here directly, and you will still get 2 readings. So you'll get the first reading in May and the second reading in June, and then it would go into effect in September. So, and Principal Guarini has talked to families about it. It came up as a theme during our strategic planning meetings. When we mentioned it today at the faculty meeting, it was very well received, I would say.
I was gonna say the cheer.
Yeah.
Standing
Yes.
ovation.
Yes.
Almost, I was ready to stand.
Almost. Yeah. There were tears of joy. It was a thing. So I think it's the right thing to do. We're looking right now at sort of 3 different models that are in place at different school districts to really think about sort of what makes the most sense for us, given our student population, how large it is, and what we're trying to accomplish. I will tell you, I do not think we'll be purchasing yonder bags, or, I know, so that's the Brockton High School approach. It's it actually is the approach of many school districts, but, you know, I think a good welding torch could get that thing open and pretty quick, so.
It's probably true, we have probably the equipment here to just open them, so.
So,
We have
can I
the
just-
technology.
Right,
can I just ask, so we're gonna do it as a committee as a whole, and I'm just wondering, had students raised any concerns?
Have students raised it? Well, students.
Because
don't
I'm
want
sure it's
cell
gotten
phones.
out there.
Well,
Yeah?
yeah, I mean, students, well, it depends on who you speak to.
Okay,
There is a group of students who have heard from their peers, either at Brockton High School or at other places, how well things are going in
Yeah.
terms of students feeling safer, students feeling more engaged in the classroom, students feeling, better interpersonal. And so they actually have approached us about implementing a policy around cell phones. But on the other hand, you've got a pretty large group of students also who are like, wait, what? You're gonna take my cell phone? Are you kidding?
I'm gonna post to Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, how am I gonna do a lawsuit? So,
Well,
and
yeah,
so
I'm sure
I
that's
think,
some
you know,
kids
it's,
responsible.
and then on the flip side, parents who are equally, like, what happens if there's an emergency? What if my child needs their cell phone because they're, you know, they need it for medical purposes? What if, and so all of those things we can address, and I just think it's coming up with a policy that will work for us, that our faculty and staff feel comfortable with, our administrators feel comfortable with, our behavior management people feel comfortable with, that our families understand, and that we have some time to really sort of get it out there and get some.
So I would just only ask, as you all make the agenda for next month, that we make sure that we not maybe reduce the agenda, but make sure there's enough time allotment just in case there are some questions or debate regarding that. So when you, Christine and Gerson meet, I would just make sure that we have some time allotted. Some of us were involved heavily with what had transpired at Brockton, but it looks like here it's going to be a bit smoother. We'll see what happens. So I'm just, as a person that went to those hearings.
Don't jinx us.
I'm not, but I realize,
I think he just
you know, the
did.
public is listening to
I think
this.
it's a great
Just want to make sure that
So do I.
it, you know, there's some time for debate.
Like a parent forum.
Yeah,
student forum,
okay.
Just so they can sort of get out their concerns.
Ahead of time. Yeah, that's
so
good,
that
good.
It's not once it's in place. You know, there are a lot of things we may not be thinking about that they're thinking about that they worry about. You know, so we do want to give them an opportunity to just have a voice in that. So, you know, whether we do it or not is not the debate. It's, you know, what are we not thinking about when
Correct.
we do
Right.
that? You know, what concerns do you have?
My concern is what service are these people using to get calls out? Because like if I'm in there, like how concerned are you? Because like I can't get a call or a text message, you know?
Well, I got 3 bars right now, but
I just don't understand. Like it's already a dead zone.
Yeah, I have to find like one corner in the media center where you
These
get a
kids
signal.
walk around with like tin foil.
I remember being in like the shop next to the garden, being at the windows. Like that was the only way you could get it.
That's why all the machining kids were mad because they took the door away. They
Yeah.
couldn't get outside.
So wait, are you giving students options for reception?
No, I'm like really confused in how they're getting service.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
get
I'm like
it.
very concerned that like what are you doing to get the service, I guess.
Yeah, they find the spots too.
You know?
The students
They
were
know
also
exactly
at
where to
school
go.
council when we talked about it, so we asked, and we had, you know, about, I wanna say 5 students there, and the students just, you know, they understood why we were doing it and said if you are doing it for us, or your rationale is you want us to, you know, build relationships with each other
Yes,
and,
yes.
you know, have opportunities, you know, can you create some opportunities for us, you know, during those times, like especially because that would be really difficult, like at lunch and other times to not have your cell phone. You know, are there things that we can do? Are there board games? Are there walking groups? Are there things that you can do so that we are able to have those opportunities together and create those opportunities, help us create those opportunities. So it's not like something's missing, like we've sort of created other things that are in place to build those connections. So I think that those were great things to sort of consider and think about. I think getting everyone's opinion, you know, because that's what's important about it is those sort of things come out. It's not necessarily that someone's challenging it, but bringing forth, you know, can we do this or can you think about this? And those were all great ideas, you know.
Thank you.
But to Member Branch's point, we will likely have other handbook policies that need to be considered in May and June as well. So we will make sure that the agenda is a meaningful one without a lot of fluff.
Thank you all.
I
like the words.
All right, next up, class of 2029 admissions update.
Thrilled for this.
All right, so we sent out a total, let me make that a little bit larger so people at home.
We appreciate it.
Wow.
So,
Our superintendent has the best graphics.
we sent out 460 total offers. We always send out more offers than we have seats because we know not everyone will accept. Total acceptances as of this morning, 405, and we have capacity for 420 students. So I did just want to sort of draw your attention to sort of how the accepted students by community have changed. And when I spoke to you about my concerns about the lottery and getting rid of any kind of selective criteria, my fear was exactly what we're seeing happen, is that the number of students from Brockton would go down significantly, and the number of students from like Stoughton would go up significantly for a small town. So if you remember last year, we increased the number of unexcused absences a student could have and still get full points for attendance. And so that was significant. That really drove up the number of students who got high scores. And what they're proposing at the state is getting rid of basically any requirements around attendance, and what would that look like? So this kind of played out the way that I thought it would, based on our simulated lotteries of like sort of lowering expectations for students. So as of right now there are still 15 seats left that we haven't filled, so those numbers could go up or down a little bit. But we have 26 fewer students from Brockton than were accepted last year, and 10 more from Sharon, which is a really big jump for them.
10 more from Stoughton.
10 more from Stoughton.
I was gonna say, you bankrupt Sharon.
Sharon was right above, the line above. 10 more from Stoughton. And just remember, like, Stoughton is paying $13,000, $14,000 a student. So that's not insignificant. Now, again, we want to see strong and steady enrollment from our towns. We don't want to disadvantage our towns. But when you see those kind of like really big shifts, and Easton will be probably relieved that there are 12 fewer students, that doesn't mean that their assessment will go down by 12 students. Because as we saw this year, if you're under target, if our transportation goes up, if there are all sorts of things that play into whether you pay less, but you're absolutely guaranteed to pay more if you have more students.
That's right.
So just something to sort of keep in mind, that we saw, smaller fluctuations in most of the towns, but the city of Brockton and Stoughton were fairly significant. So
Easton dropping 12 is pretty big.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused here, so does that mean
Well-
22 kids applied and only?
No. So this is versus last year.
Oh, okay.
So last year we accepted 299 Brockton students, and this year it's 273, right? So that's what that means. It's like versus last year, what does it look like? So,
Applications, we don't know how many
Yeah.
people put in from each town, but
Yeah.
No, but you might get all 15 spots left. You all know that.
Yeah. But there were
I doubt it.
55, I think I have that data actually for you, let me just
I
look
think
at
I
my
have
notes really quickly.
has anyone rejected?
So, yes, we've had 55 students who said no.
Oh, okay.
19 were from Brockton, 5 from East Bridgewater, 2 from Easton, 3 from Foxborough, 6 from Mansfield, 7 from Norton, 3 from Sharon, 5 from Stoughton, 4 from West Bridgewater.
So has the second round gone out yet? Or-
We haven't
so-
we haven't accepted the next 15.
No,
Okay.
so I have a lot of appeals that I want to look at before I
Okay.
do that, and the reason is it's just in case there's any error in the data, any error in the information we did. So I'd like
fair.
to,
That's
just
fair.
an opportunity, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm gonna block out some of the
Right,
appeals,
right,
and I don't want
right.
to do that.
I'm sorry, can I just, what's the appeal process? So we sent out applications and then other people reach out and were like, why didn't I get in, and can I appeal that
Yeah, so
answer?
they appeal the decision, so we look and make sure whether the record's accurate, was everything accurate, and I just look over it, make sure that, everything was accurate, that the score is accurate, if there's any reason to believe that the data that we were sent from the school is not correct, or, sometimes there were absences that the school didn't count as excused, so we work with the schools if that's the case, so, we just look over, it just really is everything accurate and correct, and so they just have the ability to pause and ask us to relook at the information.
How many appeals have you gotten? Roughly, and
35, I think.
Oh, that's not too true, okay.
Yeah, last year was like 90, but it's
That's a
still,
lot.
we still have, you know, it just started, so we just sent them out, so it, and, you know, the last 10 days, we've got 30.
Only 35 in 10 days. Okay.
I figured it'd be way worse.
Yeah, last
You know,
year,
with
last year was
1,400
really
applicants,
tough.
I-
Yeah, last
Hey.
year was like 90,
Yeah.
but that was me and, so they, you know, still have time, but, yeah, it's tough. You hear a lot of, you know, stories about Southeastern being really, they have in their heart of hearts since they were, you know, really young, so there are a lot of heart-wrenching stories in there. It's very difficult.
But I just want to thank Christina and Cameron, Costa, and the whole team. They, again, coordinated interviews with every student who had a fully completed application. So we receive over 1,400 where people put their name on the application but never follow up with us, never respond to phone calls or emails, or they live out of district, or there are all sorts of reasons. So at the end of the day, there were 1,280 verified applicants. And so the team conducted 1,280 student interviews. And that took Christina, Cameron, counselors, bilingual paraprofessionals, administrators. It takes an army to get out there and make sure every student has their voice heard through this process. So I have to give kudos to
I
them.
did get a nice compliment from the homeschool parents who said that they really enjoyed the process this year, opposed to last year. So whatever that was.
And actually, I was wondering, Holly, if you could explain how notifications went out this year that was different from last year.
So last year, we sent out hard copy notifications in the mail. We had a really cute little pop-up hawk.
I still have one.
And those will be going to accepted students. But what we found was that by doing it that way, some people got their notification one day, some people had to wait 2 or 3 days, and it created a lot of anxiety. So this year, we just sent out an email. We sent the email to the primary email that the parent registered in the system as the one they wanted us to use for all communications. Sometimes that was a parent email, sometimes that was a student email. So just so that that's clear, we used the email address the parent asked us to use. So everybody got theirs the same day, at the same time. They had the same 10-day window if they were an accepted student to let us know whether they were going to accept the offer of enrollment. So it just made it a little cleaner for us this year. So instead, we're going to send out something special for the accepted students.
Where was the date that you were putting those out posted? Because I didn't know it was the March 28th until I had parents calling me.
It was, when was it posted?
Well, when did we know that it was going to?
I didn't know either.
When did parents know
Yeah.
that it was going to be March
Yeah.
28th?
Well, we typically,
In the admissions timeline, we do put it in there on, it's in admissions, like that, we usually do it in the
last
last
week of
week
March.
of March, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Because the process can take longer, sorry.
right,
well,
one of the
and
things.
we get a little nervous about saying they're coming out Friday because God forbid.
Right, no, that's fine. I just wasn't sure
I'm
how other
wondering
parents
if
knew and I
in the
did not.
future that you could just give school committee a heads up that they're going out when you, like, right as you're getting ready to do that, so we don't get caught a little off guard with the calls. We know generally when it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but it would be very helpful.
Or is it
Yes.
posted on the website? Because I tried to look on the website and I couldn't
No,
find
absolutely.
anything.
And one thing, you know, I think too we learned from this year was we've never really sent them out electronically like that. So it was, you know, it's different for us. Like I said, before we sent the packet, is that I wouldn't send necessarily the wait list at the same time either, right? So I just sent out the acceptance and then give people a minute, you know, and so it was sort of that, you know, both of them came at the same time. So I think there would have been a minute to like appreciate that, and then, you know, people that didn't get it, then we could have given them, you know, the weekend. So I would do that differently, you know, definitely if we were gonna still send it electronically. But I like sending the packet to a little bit better. I think that, you know, I think that was okay, even anticipating it, people were excited and, you know, over a week period of time, so. So we can think about that and definitely let you know.
I thought the email was fantastic
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, that's a good
And
idea.
I think it's good when kids know that they're waitlisted too immediately, so they
Yeah.
have expectations up.
You always know when it went out, because you open your email and you get 15
Yeah.
emails in your school email, and it's like, I never get that many, so something
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then, yeah, we could just either post it online like the week before or
Yeah.
text us. It would be cool. Thank you.
No worries. That's very good feedback. So next up is the report of the committees and administrators. I'll be very brief. Thursday is our MASC Division 3 dinner and legislative updates in the Boot and Shovel, 6:30 to 8:30. So hope to see
Carries
most
up
of you
tomorrow.
there. 14th is personnel sub, 5 p.m. And then we have a negotiation sub at 5 p.m. So that's negotiation subcommittee only. At 5 p.m. on the 15th. And then we have our STEM edition handover ceremony on the 16th. And then MASC Day on the Hills, May 6th. And then other meetings after that, so I'll just go up to there. But yeah, busy time of
We
year.
have personnel committee next
Monday.
Monday the 14th.
14th. And then
5.
Did I make
at
that
5
over yet?
p.m. and then negotiation subcommittee 5 p.m. on the 15th.
Okay.
All right, so that concludes my report. Next up is the legislative liaison report, and Barbara.
The results of months of DESI meetings and proponents for and against the lottery is now coming to a head. The deadline to submit public comment is 5 p.m. on Tuesday, April 18th, and the DESI board is expected to vote on the proposed amendments at its meeting on May 20th. It goes on to say that there's a number of comments that they're getting, and no one kind of knows. So the Sun Chronicle had this headline, "Luck of the Draw." And in this particular issue, it said, "Proposed lottery for vocational and technical school admissions is opposed by Attleboro area administrators and a local state rep." Well, it turns out that at a legislative breakfast in Attleboro on Saturday, that legislator was Adam Scanlon. And he came up to me, and of course I asked him what's going on with the lottery, and he said, "I'm kind of excited. I have 20 legislators that I've mobilized fighting against the lottery." So I thanked him for that, and he said he'll be here on Thursday night, and he will talk more about that. The article mentions that he really wanted a commission to be established to study admission policies and stakeholders and data, but we'll have to wait to see. It still could go either way. We're hoping for the best. Across the state, overhauling of the state's K-12 education funding system. Healy's 2026 budget is looking at rewriting the formula by which state dollars flow to local school districts, directed by Chapter 70 state law. Tutwiler, who is now acting commissioner, is hands off. He says mass lawmakers must take the lead. Federally, we know, you can contradict me on this, but I believe the Department of Education has been closed and its function may be picked up by other departments. The latest thing that just came out was that the latest requirement coming from the administration is that K-12 schools must sign certification against DEI in 10 days in order to receive federal money. But what counts as DEI may prove to be murky and confusing, so we'll have to see more on that. Jason Fraser, the president of MASC, wanted to thank board members for their advocacy that led to the extension of the remote meeting law. So he thanks everyone for that. And while thanking everyone, he wants you to think about two other things that he'd like advocacy for. One is the Special Education Reserve Fund Bill. This bill would increase the maximum savings capacity for unanticipated special education expenses from 2% to 5% of net school spending. And the second thing is the Regional School Assessment Reserve Fund Bill. And this bill would allow municipalities to establish a dedicated account to manage spikes in assessments. It would be extremely beneficial for towns and regional vocational technical schools and regional school districts. So those are the things going on right now.
Thank you, Barbara. Any questions for her?
I just want to make a comment. I went to the Division 8 meeting, which was held at Tri-County early March, and MASC is completely supportive of getting, rid of doesn't want the lottery. They're working very hard, and there's a vocational group. I sent an email this morning that is really fighting, and they've wanted people to contact their state reps to support the bill they're considering tomorrow morning.
Yeah, the deadline was 5 o'clock for email, which I didn't.
I only got it this morning.
I know.
Come on, fill in the emails.
All right. Moving on to other reports. Tony, would you like to report out on today, or would you like to postpone that to next time?
No, I would love to actually.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about not because I have notes. So we had a very robust People and Culture Subcommittee meeting today. I thank my colleagues for showing up and others that were in the room. Primarily, we focused on the strategic plan wrap-up, which Holly did an exceptional job in explaining where we're going with respect to the strategic plan. So I appreciate her for that. I appreciate the note that I have down here that all stakeholders here at Southeastern participated, from the janitors to administrators. I think that is just awesome. In addition to that, I think that's a note. I think that might have to, no, that has, well, no, I'm not going to mention that.
Striking from
Yeah, I saw that note there. I was like, no, I'll let Holly deal with that one later. We also were looking for where we are in terms of building a plan for student testimonials. We're going to hold off on that a little bit, realizing there's a transition with respect to the principal's role. But again, I think that that covers it in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you, Tony.
You got it.
Moving on to report of administrators and report of the superintendent.
Great. So obviously we've been having lots and lots of meetings, as you know, many of which you have been at. I just want to follow up on just where we are in terms of advocacy regarding admissions. And I did send a letter to the board and the governor, the lieutenant governor, all of our state legislative delegation. And I focused my comments on sort of the financial impact to our communities that has not been thought through. I think thinking about admissions from the student lens is one thing, but we also need to think about what that looks like from the local lens. And my very strong feeling that you represent the communities that you serve, you understand your communities, your students, the needs of our region, and that I find it to be counter to the long history of local control in Massachusetts to tell you as a school committee that you do not have the right to set your admissions policy based on what the needs of our school district are, particularly in light of the fact that there is no demonstrated issue with our equitable access to Southeastern. So that has gone out. Every day we're getting, calls from MAVA, or like today, like get in touch with all your reps today. So thank you so much for being responsive to that. We really appreciate it because no matter what the outcome is, we know that we have really fought hard for what I think is in the best interest of students and the best interest of our school district. So I am going to leave it at that. And
thank you. Any questions for Holly?
Thank you for the letter.
Thank you. Moving on to our acting principal's report.
So MCAS testing went well in ELA. We had, for the Seal of Biliteracy, we had 15 senior students who qualify for the Seal of Biliteracy this year. The language that they're qualifying in is Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish. 3 of the students also qualify for the seal with distinction, which means that they had high MCAS scores as well. And then we have 5 juniors who have already qualified by passing the STAMP test and the ALA MCAS, and we have 12 freshmen and sophomore students who also passed the STAMP test, so we're very excited about that. Sarah Mulcahy, who is the Fulbright scholar that will be going to Senegal in April, over April vacation, has created a newcomer guide, so if you have an opportunity, there's a link in there. It's excellent. You know, I'd love for you to look at it, see if there's anything that you feel like is missing, but I think it's pretty comprehensive. If, you know, you were coming to the country, if you're coming to the school, what would you want to know about, you know, students here, the culture of the school, what does it mean to be a student? And so it's a really comprehensive guide just to, if you just, you know, sort of coming and you didn't know anything. And so it was really well thought out with her and her students. April, there's a guidance calendar in there that, again, you're welcome to just see the events that are going on, their college planning events. Tomorrow we're doing the post-JED survey. If you remember, years ago we had worked with the JED Foundation to sort of check the temperature where we were mental health-wise. We've worked with them for 3 years. We've put a lot of things in place. Over those 3 years, we want to see, you know, what has worked, you know, where are our students, how are they feeling now, 3 years later, and what other work do we need to do, you know, based on the survey and the results that we get back. What areas do we still need to focus on? Guidance is having their college planning workshop on April 10th. Again, there's a flyer and a link. There's a lot of work around raising resilient teens. We have a guest speaker coming in, the proms are coming up, so just again, making healthy choices, making good choices. They do want to put the car in front of the building again, working with the SAD program and these speakers so that everything sort of comes together and makes sense. It's not just, you know, one thing without the other that will all sort of be put together. So students are getting those, juniors and seniors, on the 11th and the 17th, again, really around, you know, making healthy choices. The health assisting pinning ceremony was on April 3rd, and had 20 students that were being pinned. And when they pass their test on April 10th and 11th, they'll be certified by the state of Massachusetts as certified nursing assistants. And then Summer Mulligan received the Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Contractor of Massachusetts Annual All-Star Award, along with a $500 scholarship. And we are piloting an officiating course that began, I don't know what the first day was, whenever I reported. So that was with 11 students, and they will, students will be enrolled to learn about officiating basketball.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions for Christina?
I have a question that you might not be able to answer. Do we know who the student was that won first place in the science fair?
Finn.
Finn and
Finn.
it's 2 of them.
Yes, it's Finn and,
She's awesome.
We were going to have them come in May.
Okay, and then give a presentation?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, their therapy was their project. It was
Yeah.
really excellent. It's like an AI therapy. And it's amazing, like you put in you're sad and, you know, it starts talking to you and really grabs their diagnosis from the DSM, but obviously can't diagnose anyone. So it's just taking like what you say but it's using that sort of on the back end. They've taught it to sort of use that on the back end to really grab what the diagnosis would be instead of talking to it. It works with that and starts to like build a relationship. It's a little scary, you know.
Yeah,
It was scary to think that you're getting your, you know, therapy from, you know, AI, but it's really clever, and they really did a really nice job with it. So and I'm sorry, I know the students' names, I've said it 1,000 times, and now when you're asking me, I can't remember.
We'll be inviting them next month.
Yes, they're so, wait till you see them, they're so adorable.
I would love to because I missed that presentation when I went.
They are great students.
I have some suggestions for the next one next year.
I went on Friday and saw them, and they were incredible. They really were impressive.
They're
I'll tell
amazing.
you after, I can tell you.
Christina, I just sent it to Christina, it was in the Monday morning announcement.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's Finnegan, Summer, and
Good luck.
Yeah, his name is not easy.
Oluteo?
Teo, I think.
Teo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's Teo's last name? I don't want.
I do not.
Let me,
So they were paired together and they did.
yes,
Yeah.
they did it
They
together,
had a
they did the
project.
project
Well,
together.
at NSBA, AI was a big focus on pretty much every session
Yeah,
that was being
Yes,
offered.
it was.
So,
Really is a fantastic tool if used properly.
right.
So we'll be inviting Finn and Teo, and I will make sure that we get the proper pronunciation of both names.
I have one question.
Yes, of course.
I thought I read it in this one on, when I was in board docs. The next school field trip is Costa Rica.
So she's gonna present in May.
Okay, she is presenting in May.
She is
Okay.
presenting
the
in
travel
May.
club.
She
Yeah,
was
the travel
going
club.
to present this evening,
Okay.
but then she wanted to wait until they get back from Japan,
Okay,
so they can give you an update on how that trip went, and then talk about the
okay.
next.
So
My-
that's
My
why-
concern is just, travel restrictions. Right now, they're a level 2.
Yeah.
That's something we definitely have to watch, because if they go to a level 3, we shouldn't be sending students there.
Right.
Well, and we can have that
And that's,
discussion.
and that will be part of the
Yeah.
conversation that you can have. Yeah. So,
Okay. Yeah, so that's why it was in the agenda and then it wasn't in the
Okay.
agenda.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So thank
We
you.
haven't
Just wanted to
taken-
make sure I
yeah,
get
we
that out
haven't
before I
taken-
forget
Yeah,
about it.
we haven't taken you out of the loop, we just wanted
Yeah.
to present
Exactly.
everyone.
Got canceled.
All right. Next up is the TI Director's Report and Pat.
All right, so before Pat begins, it is with mixed emotions that I announce that after 3 decades of service to the students of Southeastern Regional School District, that Pat has decided to retire.
I mean, you say congratulations.
We'll see you next year, right?
That's wonderful. Pat, are you sure we can't give you one more year? Continuously?
I have begged, literally begged.
Some days I'm like, oh, definitely.
This
Other
is
days,
solidifying my big fear of our contingency planning.
Still going to Scotland,
She's-
right?
She's great, so Pat has been one of my most trusted advisors. She is just a very solutions-oriented person. And she's ridden some pretty, she's ridden the waves of some pretty challenging circumstances at the TI through COVID and then post-COVID, trying to build up enrollment again with the MA and DA programs, surviving the loss of our practical nurse director at the beginning of the school year and managing to really salvage that program. And she'll be the first person to give praise to her team and tell you it's all about the team, and the last person to really talk about her own contributions to adult education. And she will be missed, but I've already told her that, I have all sorts of special projects that she can work on for me. And so thank you. And you're until you're gone, you're here. So
I think it's time, but I can't quite see what retirement is going to look like. But we are expecting our first grandchild in July. So I think that will fill some of my time.
That'll be wonderful. Yes.
My daughter's married name is Park, and so we keep coming up with fun names like Fenway. Hyde and Central. So,
Don't forget Wrigley.
we're open to all,
That's fun.
Wrigley could work, right? Somebody last week said Rocky Point, and that's kind of my favorite right now. First name, middle name, call it Rocky.
I like that.
Anyway, back to the TI. So in March, we celebrated the 10th anniversary of the cosmetology program. We had cake and balloons, and it was very nice. They started the program in 2015, and the first graduating class was 2017 because it's a 14-month program. But since that time, we've had a 100% pass rate on the cosmetology board exam. Not every student's taken the exam, but anyone who's taken it has passed. And we have a 97% employment rate. So I think that's a great record and a great, the teachers have done a tremendous job, and obviously the students have been wonderful. They are definitely one of the more fun programs. And I recently did an application to COE to make the machine tool program a hybrid program. So the TI has hybrid designation, which we have so that the evening medical assisting program could be hybrid, and then you apply for each program individually. But, you know, the machine tool program is housed with the high school program, and that gives us the most amount of flexibility because John Medeiros, who's the teacher, sort of manages both. And so that way they're in the building most of the day, but it gives him flexibility to send them off and do some immerse to learn things or to have them out for a day or two or like leave earlier in the day and work on that kind of stuff. And we can't do that without the approval of COE. So we're expecting that to come any day now. And dual enrollment, big news for that. East Bridgewater has recently just signed a contract with us, so the list is there, but Brockton, Easton, Foxborough Charter, Mansfield, Norton, Sharon, and East Bridgewater finally. So those are the districts that we have agreements with and are actively enrolling students from those in several programs. That's great. And it's kind of in a program that kind of eases way in, but it's a really good program. Also, Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School is what that was. And the high school collision program is going to help us do some work on the food truck. We're going to repaint it. It needs some work. It's kind of sits outside a lot. So new awning, new paint job. They're going to move it into the collision shop. They have to build a structure to paint it in because it doesn't fit in the paint booth. And we mark it a little bit. Just say right now it says Southeastern Hawk, so we're just going to do Southeastern, have the Hawk, and also the TI logo. So we're looking forward to having that done. And last Wednesday night, we had the advisory board for the TI, which was very well attended. Not every program had their meeting, but the programs that did, we had about 90 or 100 people. Our food truck program did barbecue, which everyone really enjoyed. It was really good. And the meeting was very well attended, so that was exciting. Kind of got other things on there, but that's the highlights. Thank you.
Well, I have to ask you this question.
Yep.
So since Mansfield's on a roll, how is Mansfield doing for dual enrollment?
Always the leader.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, not to brag.
That was very humble.
I don't know where we are right now, but just because it always, they sort of were in the program early on, and the students know about it and word of mouth, and we generally, whatever the number's going to be, the majority of them are usually from Mansfield.
Thanks.
I think there's maybe.
Can I make a suggestion for next open house? Maybe is there an option for like to have a table for? I know they have a table, but do they discuss dual enrollment with other families that come in?
At open house?
Yeah, like, is there a possibility, like, if kids that are trying to enroll have older siblings that are already in the system that couldn't get here, is there an option for them to speak to somebody kind of on site more about dual enrollment?
That's a great idea.
That's usually somebody from the TI. I know.
Right, I feel like I've seen
Yeah,
that.
it's always there.
Our open houses, we'll do like a dual enrollment open house before it. So like the half hour before dual enrollment, people will come and the families will hear about it.
Okay.
But I'm even thinking at the high school one, because there have been families who've come up to me and said, well, what if my student can't get in? Well, if we had a table for dual enrollment, that would be a natural place to move them
Definitely.
to. Yeah, it's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Right, any questions for Pat?
Yeah. The towns that are not on that list, which I assume is Stoughton and West Bridgewater,
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
what is the problem?
Jealous?
I think Stoughton has been on it, but they just haven't renewed their contract. I think sometimes it's just what kind of drives them. East Bridgewater's there because we had a family that was interested in it. Where the guidance department was like, yeah, well, we don't have anybody, but okay. But when we had a family that was interested,
And yeah.
than coverage. So I think we have lots of information, students apply from Stoughton, from West Bridgewater all the time. And it'll hit, somebody will decide that's what they wanna do, and that's what'll drive it, I think.
Just as the West Bridgewater person, and I do know something about that, I didn't know something about other questions earlier, but I've been pretty involved for the past probably 12 years in like our schools and whatever, and I had no idea. So
the normal.
like I literally wrote it down to like look into because like I didn't know that was even a thing.
So the normal way we would handle that is we make meetings with, we go to West Bridgewater's guidance department and present it to their guidance department, and Rhonda and Beth Ann, we do our outreach. Usually we have a guidance breakfast and they come to that and we talk about it, and then we'll send out information periodically, but then they'll go and try to get into a guidance meeting at some point so that they can talk about what the TI does in general, but also about the dual enrollment program.
Yes, I do have a question.
I asked them about a room we were there, and then they're like, well, I don't know, and then I looked down and I saw the flyer, like, the TI, I'm like, oh, it's right here. Right on the table, they're like, oh.
That's good, look at that.
So, I do have a question. When we do those guidance breakfasts, they're not just with the middle school guidance department, it's with high school guidance departments
When
too?
the TI does it, we have our own guidance breakfast in the fall, late fall, and it is not just the sending towns, it's any guidance department that we can get to come.
Are you guys allowed to go to those college fairs that these high schools hold too, and do you do tables there?
They very often invite us.
Oh, good, okay.
We go to several at Brockton. I think we're going to Taunton's Career Exploration later in the month. Sharon High School's guidance meeting is on May the 10th. And Norton's Career Fair on the 17th.
Oh, good, okay, perfect.
So they do hit a lot of those events.
They get a discount, correct, if they're in-district students?
There's
Dual
a
enrolled
lower
students?
tuition rate for in-district students.
Okay, I guess we should say that it's a discount. Perfect, all right, thank you.
Well, thank you, Pat. We're gonna miss you. Big shoes to fill.
Absolutely.
I know, Pat.
I know.
Getting stressed out.
What we feared,
I
like it. Listen, I'm telling you.
All right, so we are gonna skip over D.
Well, I can provide some updates on the department. So we are actively starting to post for open positions for next year, and you'll start to see those on School Spring. They'll be on our website. They come out in emails, and I believe all of you are on the entire district email.
Yes.
So those are coming out. Our HR generalist, Savannah, has really hit the ground running. She's doing a very nice job for someone who's been here just a matter of a few weeks. We are having our open enrollment period for employees starting on April the 10th. I think we've shared with you how we had some concerns going into this coming year about health insurance rates. We had predicted about a 12% increase on health insurance rates, and they actually came in at 9.6%. And that happened because we did make some minor adjustments to the plan. To increase copays for doctor visits. We increased the copay for outpatient surgical procedures, and a couple of other and minor increases for prescriptions. But just by making those little tweaks, we were able to bring down the rate from actually the first projection was like 12.8% when we first met with Marsh McLennan, down to 9.6. So that's a big savings for our faculty and staff. So that is over the next 2 weeks. They'll be able to make any changes to their plans, to enroll, to add dependents, whatever they need to do for the next 2 weeks. So those are a couple of the big things. I know that the department has been sending out their HR newsletter and their equity and inclusion newsletter on a monthly basis. So that's what I have for today. I do not need to go into
So we do not need to go into executive session tonight, so believe it or not, at 7:28, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Let's bring it to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 9-0.
I second.
Second. All right, thank you, everyone. Kelsey, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your vote.
Oh, don't worry.
I thought it was the way.
You know what? You know what it is